fine-tuning argument is over and done with, and it's quite clearly settled one way or the other. Even more, I think, with the issue of suffering, because I often say, well, what would it be to have an explanation that made you relax about animal suffering or human suffering, where you would just say, now I see, yes, that's fine. And I'm not looking for that sort of argument, but that doesn't mean I'm very comfortable with the position. I struggle, as I think most Christians do, with putting a theoretical framework around it. I suspect, perhaps that's the best I can do, that it's something to do with the inherent conditions of there being any kind of universe, any kind of consistent, temporally extending universe at all. But
it's what it means to be in space and time and have a physical universe.
Sort of thing, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I want to go to Alex in just a moment, but I want to add Elizabeth's thoughts. So you had the quote really stuck out for me from your book, Elizabeth. You said, "I would like to put the apple back on the tree, please, because the knowledge of good and evil is just too damn painful." And a lot of your book is talking about how we can live and respond to evils and suffering. And although you're not a philosopher of religion, but you do consider yourself a theist, how do you reconcile this perfectly good, omnipotent, omniscient being with the evident suffering in the world?
I don't consider myself a theist, but I do consider myself a Christian.
You don't consider... Oh, okay. Apologies. You don't consider yourself a theist?
It's one of those philosophy of religion terms that feels like arid.
We'll clarify the concepts at the pub. I won't make people sit through it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I became a Christian through a powerful experience of God's love, and then I tried for a while to be an atheist, and this was part of the reason. And if I'm ever an atheist again, and that may happen, it will be because of the problem of suffering. It's, I think, the big gaping wound in human experience, right? And so the desire to explain it away or justify it always seems morally abhorrent to me. I think the kind of first right response is just witness. It's just to witness the fact that this is never theoretical. Everyone in this room will have a reason why this is not theoretical. And it often comes back to this thing about love. It's the loss of people that we love, or the suffering of people that we love. Actually, the problem of pain, we can tolerate quite a lot of suffering for ourselves. For the people we love, not so much. For the loss and grief, not so much. And the traditional Christian responses to it, the free will argument that in our turning away from God, in the homo inconvertis in se, as Augustine says, humanity turned in on itself, as that definition of sin, our withdrawal from love, our turning our back on love, is one way to think of the fall, somehow cracked outwards into all creation, and that's responsible for natural evil. Doesn't quite do it for me. The veil of soul making, the idea that suffering is somehow helping us grow up our souls in its worst form, like morally poisonous. Nick Cave, others writing about suffering and grief at the moment, are gesturing towards something that feels like the suffering can deepen us and humanize us. There seems something true in there, but you need to take so much care with that argument. I don't resolve this. I just hold it, and I hold the tension of it purely because of Christ on the cross. Because an impassive God who looks on the suffering of creation as omnipotent, omnipresent, whatever your kind of abstract labels for God are, I have no interest in. A God that comes close in solidarity with the suffering. There's a bit in Isaiah that Christians believe is a prophecy about the Messiah, and it says he was a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, one from whom people turned their face. And a God who I don't understand why allows suffering, but comes close to it and stands in solidarity with the suffering at all times and weeps, that allows me to hold it.
Well, if I understand you both correctly, the reasons why both of you don't embrace traditional theism, despite wanting to, perhaps in both of your cases, is the problem of evil and suffering. Do you want to come in on first in this, Alex, and we'll go to Philip?
I mean, that and divine hiddenness, which is a kind of a subset of the problem of evil, would be an example of one of the bad things that has to be explained. I agree entirely, by the way, that the way that we're thinking about God is wrong, generally. I think that it's helpful to remember, as Aquinas pointed out, that religious language is all analogical. God is not powerful. God is not loving. God is not knowing. God is not any of these things. God is beyond the comprehension. These are just analogous terms. They're human concepts that we can use to allow us to get a glimpse of the kind of thing that God is like. The one that really sticks through that might not be an analogy is